What's going on, bud? Yeah, so I don't like to get political. I said we might. Today is one of those days because I've been thinking about this a few days ago, and just before we go on, like, you're gonna see this in the future because I'm filming this as it happened yesterday or the day before. A few days ago is some of the events we're going to talk about, but the point that we're going to be talking about is like a story as old as time, unfortunately. So the message is going to be the same. It's just the events took place, like, by the time you see this, it might be, a few weeks, even maybe a month away. But so cheers. Drinking buddy. I got my palate cleanser going, and we're going to get to, this is probably going to be a two-part episode. We're going to get to the beverage of the day, but for now, we have our official, unofficial palate cleanser of the channel. So cheers, bud. Yeah, so did you see this? Some kid, I don't want to say kid, I'm saying kid, but I mean, he's probably, at least in his mid to late 20s, something, I don't know, don't quote me. A gentleman worked in a factory, a toilet paper factory, and he records himself. So there's a video, you can go and watch this. It's quite remarkable. I haven't seen anything quite like it. Records himself from a first person's perspective. So, the camera, you don't see him, you just see his hands. And you hear his voice. And he works in a toilet paper factory, and he kind of, I'm going to paraphrase the story for the sake of this, but more or less, again, go watch the video if you want to see it, but more or less, he keeps saying, all of this could have been avoided, or this didn't have to happen, sort of thing. All you had to do was pay us a living wage. All you had to do is pay us a living wage. All you had to do is pay us a living wage, like over and over. More or less, that's what happens. And then he lights the toilet paper on fire, and the entire factory is destroyed. Again, this happened a few days ago. I believe right now the police have arrested someone, the alleged suspect. I'm not going to say any names, and I don't know anything about anything, so I can't, tell you any more about the story. But go ahead and look it up. I'm sure if you just search toilet paper fire, like, it's probably, April 2026, I'm sure you'll find it. But yeah, they're saying about $500 million in product was destroyed, and then, and I assume that's the sale value, not necessarily the actual product worth of the I don't know, don't quote me on anything, not to mention the cost of the building itself, right? The factory, the warehouse, I don't know what it is specifically. It looks to be a place where they're storing the product, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, this place goes down, burnt to the ground. And who knows how many millions of dollars, if not more, this, like, in terms of damages. And all you had to do was pay us a living wage, he says. Now, I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I hear a story like this, and I compare it to, very similarly to the story Luigi Mangione, when we hear about what he did to the CEO of whatever health insurance company. There's a parallel here, right? There is a like if we were looking at a revolution like a race, Luigi set the starting posts, right? And so now everyone is, whether or not we want to be, if you are not a part of the 1%, we are now at the starting post. A year's probably gone by since Luigi allegedly did whatever he did or didn't do. I don't know. I genuinely don't know where that's going. The story has evolved. You can look that up for yourself as well. But this is going to become more and more common. Things are going to speed up. The race has, again, the start was before. We're now, let's say, a year later from this. Things are going to start to pick up pace. Doritos. This is, I know, a little side note, but stay with me. Frito-Lay, I think it's Frito-Lay, whoever the heck. Those products, Pepsi, I think it's Pepsi, more broadly speaking. I think it's like on record, like admitted that during the pandemic, because the prices went up for one reason or another because of the pandemic, and take that with a grain of salt. However you believe greedflation and this and that, I don't care. Like, take what you will. But the prices went up for chips, right? Something arbitrary, something no one really needs. It's like a snack. We like salty, fatty, bad for us junk food, right? Everyone does. Doritos are great. Shout out Doritos if you want to sponsor this channel. Dinker and Sinker. Send me a few bags because I'm hungry. In a more depressing way than I'm not needing snacks. I'm needing nourishment. But Doritos, PepsiCo, the chips, all these chips, Lay's chips and all that, reported like $1 billion in losses or something like this because they saw the trend. Oh, people are still buying our chips after we raised the prices, like doubled the prices or whatever during the pandemic. So naturally, when things, of course, the pandemic lasted a couple years, things settled down, the markets probably should have, and this is where I've been thinking, the markets, for all sakes and purposes, like we talk, even like coffee is a big one in my life because I drink a lot of coffee. Don't care so much for chips. I love chips, but I'm not gonna, go up and buy. It's not something I need every day. Like if I have chips, yum. But coffee is something I wake up. I need a coffee, and I've been following the prices of a few products that I buy every single day. I don't buy but I use every single day. Coffee is a big one. Peanut butter is another one. And just for those alone, I'm not exaggerating. Coffee, the price of coffee, the coffee brand that I buy, which by the way is the no-name brand because I can't afford anything, luxury or nice or whatever. I just need that caffeine in the morning, so I buy the biggest thing, the cheapest price. It's no longer a tin. Now it comes in like this cardboard box. That's a side note, but you'd think the quality of the packaging goes down. Shouldn't the price go down? Of course not. We, as consumers, always pay for, well, they say it's going to make it cheaper. It's going to make it cheaper. No. It's because the markets went down after COVID, right? They should have calmed down. They told us, oh, the markets, COVID, supply, So we have to raise the prices. We absolutely have to raise the prices. Price of coffee doubled overnight almost. Doubled. Used to be a $12, almost a kilogram, whatever it was. Don't quote me on that, the product I would buy. It's now 20. The same product is $20. So it's nearly doubled. If not, it has doubled. And they said, oh, well, it's a bad year for coffee. Well, we had a bad shipment of beans, so there's nothing we can do. Okay. So this summer, when the new shipment of beans comes in, the prices are going to return to $12 for that kilogram tub, right? The prices are going to go back down, right? That $20 that I was forced to pay, it's coming back down to what the price actually is, right? All they had to do was pay us a living wage. All they had to do was pay us a living wage. Peanut butter overnight. This is true. This is literal overnight, because I went to the store 3 days in a row, the same grocery store. So maybe the peanuts had a bad shipment. Oh, there must have been a bad shipment. Oh, there's nothing we can do. The prices. Overnight, 3 days in a row. It was a $4.50 thing. Let's say, round up, we'll say $5. It was $5. Went the next day. Because, and let me just say, I went 3 days in a row because I don't have a vehicle. I can't afford transportation. I was homeless a year ago. We can talk about that another time, but just trying to get back on my feet. So I literally have to use my feet. I walk, and I can't carry many groceries, so I have to do things in trips over several days. In this case, it was 3 days. And I went, and it's a $4.50 thing. Round up, let's say it's $5 after everything, right? Whatever. I don't think it's taxed, but it doesn't matter. For the sake of this, we'll say it was $5 before. The first day it was $5. I showed up the next day. I'm going to buy more peanut butter. This is the next day. $6. The same exact product. Not a different size, not a different brand. The same exact product overnight. Rose $1. Huh. Well, that's strange. I wonder what those peanut markets are looking like. Maybe a boat of peanuts sank in the ocean? I don't know. The plane went down. The peanut plane went down. Third day. True. This is, I promise you, 100% true. The third day. $6.50, and now I think it's up to $8. This is like a month later, right? A month or two later, it's now closer to $8 for the same exact product, the same exact amount. And I assume that next plane that makes it over the ocean or over the whatever, that next plane is going to arrive and the prices are coming down, right? The prices are coming back down to what the product's supposed to be priced at, right? All they had to do was pay us a living wage. All they had to do was pay us a living wage. The races have begun, right? Like, we understand that, right? Like, this is something that has begun. Whatever is going to happen coming soon, I think. Because how much further can you be pushed before the toilet paper, the metaphorical toilet paper, I wanted to say goes down the shitter, but that's not the case here, right? No. When I was in university, I did my undergrad in a long while ago now, but it's about 2014, 2015. And my favorite professor, I mean, they're all great. I had a bunch of great teachers, professors, but one in particular was my favorite. I don't need to say names, for the sake of whatever, anonymity. But it was a course that more or less kind of described different civilizations that fell and they likely were, successful at one point, but they either vanished. It was more or less a apocalypse course. I'm just going to paraphrase because that's not literally what it was, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So civilization, like how it came to power and what caused it to just vanish, right? And of course, we talk about some of the. It's very political. Obviously, this course has much to do with politics. This professor during this course liked me so much because I was so engaged, and I was, I consider myself somebody that grew up in subsidized housing and just has always suffered through one type of poverty or another, right? But I was engaged, and I was, the research I was doing was like involved. I wasn't just like half-assing whatever assignments. Like I cared. I was when I was there, I participated. I asked questions genuinely. To this day, I'm still, somebody that cares about the economy and people more so. When I say the economy, from my perspective, that means people's welfare within a community or state. But anyway, this prof liked me. I liked him. We'd go for a pint here and there. Liked me so much, he brought me into the, and this is not my major, so I wasn't allowed. I didn't have the prerequisites. You have to take every course to get there to the fourth year, course. And we just got along really well. And he allowed me. He went, to registrar's office and said, no, he's allowed to take this fourth year course. He doesn't need those prerequisites. And so I took that course, and it changed my perspective so drastically about how we interact with not only one another across political lines, but also with our environment and with our understanding of social mobility. Propaganda is so fucking powerful, man. People are so stupid. Swear words are coming this episode. I apologize. But we went for a pint after, so this would have been, I'm graduating at this point, or at least I'm passing this course. The course is over, and, the summer is coming, so we go for a pint. And however it came up in the conversation, I point blank asked my tenured professor, Dr. And if you ever see this, Doctor, just know I still to this day, I think about that conversation that we had. He told me, I asked him point blank, will democracy, so voting and peaceful protest, these types of civil disobedience, will these fix the system as it is right now? Because, and funny enough, looking back to 2015, things were much better than they are now. It's only declined in such a drastic way, but I digress. I asked him point blank, voting, democracy, like peaceful protest, are those going to fix how our society is governed? Is it going to make a more equitable and, balanced economy? The 1% are exploiting money. They're just exploiting us, right? Like they're just sucking all of the value out of our labor and our creativity, everything. Data centers, we can talk about it another time too, but point blank, peaceful protest, will this fix? Will voting out this person fix it? Never forget his answer. He told me the only thing that will fix not just our society, but the system at large. Violent revolution was his answer. A violent revolution is the only way throughout history anything ever changed in such a way that systems were reformed, let's say. Reformation, anyone? Violent revolution. And all they had to do was pay a living wage. All they had to do was pay us a living wage. I don't have a lot of time. But I'm standing with the farmers. I believe I want to say the farmers in, I think it's Australia. No, Ireland. I think it's Ireland. I saw in the news the other day, the farmers have blocked the major highways. They set up all their vehicles. They're considering sending in the military to move the vehicles and arrest people in all of this because the farmers wanted to stop, just halt. Again, fighting for. And I'll be honest, I don't remember specifically what they were fighting over. I wonder if it was data centers or if it had to do with wages, whatever it had to do with. Maybe it was, it might have had to do, I feel like data centers was a part of it. Had to do with some kind of government funding was just not adequate. I think that's what it was. We need to subsidize our farmers because they're the ones that feed us. Do you know what I mean? Like we need to support like housing, food, clothing, like things we need. Like, your $8 bag of chips lost you $1 billion. $1 billion because your greed, Pepsi, your greed, you thought we were loyal to you? We like your cheddar corn chips? I'm genuine. Like, did you pay someone? You must have paid someone to come up with that idea to raise the price. A bag of corn, cheesy, like fake cheesy corn triangles that make us fat, diabetic. Yeah, they'll still buy this. We'll fill up half the bag with air. The only corn I will support is directly from my people. Farmers, I respect everything you do. You work hard. You deserve better. So my Irish, this is not an Irish beer. Just saying that. Just putting that out there right away. Bose Lug Tread Lagered Ale. Okay, 5.2%. Obviously, this has nothing to do with anything. I just saw the tracker, and it kind of like filled me with a sense of, like this is iconic and kind of emblematic of what I wanted to talk about today. But yeah, let's see how this is going to taste. My camera is getting low, so I'm going to restart the video real quick. Let's give this a shot. This is Lug Tread Lagered Ale. I love me a nice lager. Refreshing and balanced. An original lagered ale. We got some French here on the back for our Quebec friends. Return for refund, pretty standard stuff. 10 Terry Fox Drive, Van Cleek Hill, Ontario. Not entirely sure where Bose Brewing Company is, but there it is. beaus.ca. You can go check them out. But let's check it out here. I'm guessing. Sound of heaven, by the way. I was gonna say I wanted to guess there'd be a sweet note. I don't know why, but I feel like expensive beers tend to taste fruitier. In this case, banana E. In my local area, another example is Land Shark. It has a very banana forward scent, and I don't know what makes that, but certainly smells light in terms of consistency, texture, very much a pale. Yeah, like looks like what I expect. It's a little thicker than maybe I would have guessed, but let's see. Definitely getting, yeah, banana forward, but it's also light. So let's give it a taste. Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that. This is far more bitter than I was initially going to guess. Bose Brewing Company, 5.2%. So it's not a strong beer, but it's certainly stronger than standard lagers that you might pick up. Certainly when talking about domestics in my local area. Just slightly more than that. Is it strong, though? Does it taste strong? Well, the sweet notes are very fine. It's actually quite balanced. I feel like that is a good way to describe it. Refreshing and balanced. I would argue that is the, I don't know whoever you are, marketer, whoever wrote that, it is refreshing and balanced. So perfect. You nailed it. You nailed it. So I don't know. I had what does Jacob Jones always does? Like, he'll hold up his thing and he'll do, you know, the thumbnail. I should probably do a thumbnail as well, but I want to make sure that nice tractor is on there. He just puts his hand down, so why should I do anything different, you know? There's our Jacob Jones style thumbnail. Yeah, I don't think there's much to say about this. As a product, it is a refreshing, light, crisp. I would say in terms of consistency, in terms of froth, in terms of mouth feel, it is a slight step, pardon me, a slight step up from Pabst. There's more mouth feel than something a little lighter. It's frothier, but it's not frothy. I wouldn't describe it that way. I wouldn't even describe it as silky as I did the, what was it called? The Headstock? I think the Headstock was the IPA that had a velvety mouthfeel to it. This does not. This is more, you could buy 6 of these and enjoy them quite easily without having to switch it up. Like, this is refreshing and balanced. That is the exact descriptor, I would say. Contains barley and wheat. I'm not getting any notes of these things. Yeah, the balance is perfect. Because it's not bitter and it's not sweet. It's like a perfect, like I'm imagining a seesaw. This sits right there. It's not like Pabst, where I would consider almost flavorless, which is obviously not accurate, but I that's why I use Pabst as my palate cleanser, because it tends to kind of be an easy no. The flavor isn't very, forward for me. This guy sits perfectly in the middle. This is no IPA, so like it's not strong flavor wise, and it's not like a on one end or the other. It's not flavorless. It's not flavorful. It's perfectly balanced, and that's why I consider it, again, refreshing and balanced. And you could easily sip on this in an evening, get a 6-pack or whatever and enjoy your evening, and you would very much enjoy this product. So Bose Brewing Company, Lug Tread, supporting the farmers with this delightful can. Yeah, it's good. That's a nice beer. That's a really nice beer. I'm gonna give it a. Honestly, for me, that might be an 8. That's not bad. Like, I like this a lot. This is a really good beer. I highly recommend. It's a little more expensive than a standard, domestic, or even like one of the lower ends. Certainly more expensive than Pabst. I think this was like $3.50, and it might have been on sale, $3.20 on sale or something for a can. So it's reasonably priced. If you want a nice, a nice balanced, flavored, and even in mouthfeel, it's not too silky, it's not too liquid, it's not too foamy. It's just perfectly in the middle. 8. I might even go a little higher than that. It might even be like an 8.2, between an 8.2 and an 8.5. This is really good. Bose Lug Tread Lagerdale. That's it. That's what we're done. We're done. I've talked enough. The irony of me having this entire like anti-capitalist, whatever, and then, all right, gang, like and subscribe, and here's my review of this product that you could purchase. Listen, two things can be true at the same time. Labor is not the problem. We want to work. We just want to be respected. We want to be compensated. We want to be appropriately, in terms of like, where am I going here? They always ask, why do you want to work for the company? And where do you see yourself in 10 years? Well, it's hard for us to say, well, what I want to do is be in a position where, I'm not just pushing a broom around. I'm not just pressing a button on a machine. I'm not just scrubbing toilets. Like, where do I see myself in 10 years? That's on you, company. You need to respect and reward your employees. And don't expect them to go above and beyond when you can't even do the bare minimum. Right? Like, am I crazy? Like, all you had to do is pay us a living wage. That's number one. You want me to go above and beyond? How many times have I been refused a raise? I've had my pay cut. I actually legally worked for less than minimum wage because of how it fell on the calendar, because of how the pay period fell on the calendar. Because minimum wage went up and my company was making cuts. And it was legal because it's a small company, under 50 people at the time. I don't know if it's the same. And you wonder why the goalposts, the racetrack, you wonder why some individuals are sprinting toward that finish line. Where is the finish line? That's up to you. Billionaire, millionaire, corporate entity. All you had to do is pay them a living wage. Ooh, baby, baby, I wanna make love to your woman.